Welcome back to another Justin and the Minifans. It is November 28th, 2020. I'm joined by Visionless Dave, of whom was called, I believe, a terrific follow on Twitter this week by one Kirk Seamus Minahan. Is that correct?
Oh, I didn't even see that. Yeah, that's kind words from Kirk.
I will also be joined by Jay's Mayhem soon. He was supposed to show up. Don't know where he is. So hopefully he shows up soon. But let's hop right into it. I mean, it was a short week. It was an eventful week. We had Matt Carano filling in as producer. The Cheers show on Monday, which was met with very mixed opinions. And also Blind Mike was back too. So very, very heated week. I saw a lot of division on Twitter, on Facebook, between whether or not Monday's show was a funny troll job or whether a lot of people I saw were upset. What were your thoughts on it, VD?
Well, I've never seen an episode of Cheers, and I didn't even know what Cheers was till I heard about it on this show. I'm not really a sitcom guy, so the content of the show wasn't necessarily for me, but I'm more interested in the overreactions in both regards in the Miniverse. It's kind of what the Minifans do best, is overreact. And I saw some people saying it was like, one of the most genius pieces of art ever, which I think might be an overreaction. And I saw other people saying, Kirk is trying to sabotage the show, which is probably an overreaction in the other way. But if nothing less, it made Twitter a little interesting. But as far as the content of the show, it wasn't for me, but I'm still here,
I haven't watched Cheers either. So, I mean, what they were saying was just flying over my head. But I think it's hilarious just knowing the fact that people were like, oh, Mike's coming back. And then the first thing they talk about is episodes 14 and 15 of season 1, where, someone is pretending to be homosexual or whatever it was. I forget what the plot line of the episodes were. But it's I just started laughing as soon as I started listening, and I heard Mike go, "Oh, well, welcome back to your regularly scheduled programming," and he just kept going. And I don't necessarily think Kirk was trying to do a good cheer, like he said so on Tuesday. He was trolling the fans. He was like throwing this out there as kind of like a joke show to be like, "Listen, like stop fucking around with this stuff." And
right.
I don't know. I thought it was hilarious. I don't think it was up there with Cullen, obviously, or I was a huge fan of the Hammer. But I think it's funny that they had corresponded beforehand and they said, hey, listen, because I mean, they both knew what they were talking about. I don't think Mike walked in on Monday and said, okay, let's do it. And then Kirk kind of threw on him, by the way, we're doing a Cheer show. I think this was planned out a week or two in advance when Mike said he was coming back up. Here's Jay.
Yeah, I think Steve had mentioned the week before, like, are we still doing our plan for when Mike comes back? And like, the devil in my mind was like, oh, they're going to prank him or they're going to do something to fuck with him. But it turns out they obviously instead wanted to fuck with the fans. And
I think that was hilarious to see all the overreaction on Twitter. I think it was worth it. I think it was an incredible show.
Joy Taylor.
What do you say?
Joy Taylor.
No, we're talking about Monday's show.
Oh.
With the whole Everyone Knows We're Lame, the episode of Everyone Knows We're Lame. What did you think? What did you think about it, Jay? Did you like it? Did you think it was a good troll job?
We were bamboozled a bit. Yeah, I mean,
of course we were bamboozled.
It was enjoyable. I mean,
no one expected that. I mean, it was not even like
it sucked, but it was supposed to be that. Like, we were supposed to be annoyed with it, and Twitter went wild.
Yeah, I think. I mean, Kirk 100% got what he wanted out of the fan reaction. Oh, we lost Visionless Dave.
R.I.P.
And I think that's just exactly what was supposed to happen.
Yeah, it's amazing when stuff like that happens. I mean, the mastermind in Kirk Minahan.
And I think it's like this hit everyone by surprise too, because I think the only people that knew about it were Mike, Steve, and Kirk.
Well, they brought it up the day before or like a couple days.
They brought it up subtly, but like
still, or like.
But even like with the Cullen episode, they're like, oh, we're dropping this on. But they had a bunch of people like coming in with doing voices or making commercials for it or something like that. So people kind of knew that something was coming, something different was coming. This was just like, bam.
I actually heard Kirk asked like 14 people specifically.
14 people about
Just in general, he only asked 14 people
to do what? To do
like everything.
okay.
Yeah.
Is that like a inside group joke? The 14.
What? I just heard that from some guy.
Oh,
Jay,
okay.
what is on your head? Nice. I love it.
I like it.
I love it.
Guys.
Probably
like
not the best. Probably not the best hat for eating chips out of, but it looks great.
Nah, I'm over that. I'm a new man.
You got your pizza.
Yeah, we want
Nice.
today.
Well, overall, I would put Monday's show kind of in the. I'd put it above the Robinson Report. I'd put it below Cullen, and I would put it below the Hammer in terms of
way.
Like,
Cullen was way better.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying Cullen was above this. I think Cullen was the best show, best podcast I've ever listened to. But it's nice to see. It's nice to throw a show out there and get a mixed reaction. I think it was probably the best way in order to get Mike on two different shows, because I think if you had two separate shows where it would just be like one show of just Kirk talking with Mike and then another show of just Mike maybe taking phone calls, which is pretty much what we got on Tuesday. To have that split over 2 days would just seem kind of dragged out. So I think this was a good way of kind of reintroducing Mike back into the world. I mean, he's been gone for like 3 months now, a quarter of a year. So it was nice to see him, and they didn't miss a beat. I mean, no offense to Quantum Week Chris, but I think Kirk could take over that position on Everyone Knows We're Lame, and it would be that show wouldn't miss a beat.
As the producer of Everyone Knows This Is Lame, was it a similar experience listening to Kirk and Mike talk about Cheers as it was listening to Mike and Chris?
Normally, when I'm listening to Mike and Chris talk about Cheers, I'm like paying attention to see if there's anything I can cut to send to Kirk. So this was kind of not necessarily. I don't know. It was just funny just listening to it. I think it was, to hear them go back and forth, and then to hear them like throw in little like subtle jabs, not jabs, but like just subtle references to each other where they're like, oh, well, you think when Kirk would be like, you think someone who did a Cheers podcast would know about that. And then Mike would go like, yeah, we both do a Cheers podcast. We should both know about this. I think it was very funny. But let's get to the return part 2, in which I don't know if you guys have anything else you want to say about Monday's show, or if you just want to hop on into
no, let's get past that.
Into Tuesday's show, where we got to see Blind Mike return. I loved hearing Mike. I thought it was great. I thought he sounded rejuvenated. I think he did a complete 180 on. I re-listened to By Mike today, which is from his last show before he left.
Yep.
And he sounds like a completely different person.
Yeah.
If you listen to that show, it sounded like he was trying to convince himself that this was worth it, that him going on this break is worth it. I know at one point Steve asked him, he said, hey, like, so what do you plan on getting out of this program? And he's like, and he brings up the YouTube thing, which in the grand scheme of things should not be why you're going to a blind school. But I think him going to this blind school and, just kind of being able to accept his blindness and accept that, he's going to have a cane and all these other things and have, like you said,
a point of like hierarchy, like his blindness, like sounds like somebody at the school, like, like he's the guy, like, we gotta go see him. He gives you
like your highness.
Yeah, like that's where he got it. That's why it took so long to get his cane. That 54-inch pleasure stick.
Well, it does sound like he's the cool kid at blind school.
Exactly.
And I can just like picture him in like before fencing class. They're like, so Mike, what do you do for a job? He's like, you guys ever heard of Barstool?
Ooh.
So yeah, he's like definitely the cool kid at blind school, which that'll build your confidence though.
Do you think Alba has ever picked him up? Like he said he Ubers, but I feel like he's too cheap to Uber.
No, Mike's not cheap.
He's not?
No.
Have you seen that gold chain?
Mike's not cheap.
I mean,
Mike will spend money. He's cheap. Like he doesn't spend a lot of money, but like if he needs to spend money on something, he'll do it. So I think Alba's probably picked him up a couple times.
I mean, it's not like he's picking change up off the floor. You're right.
But it's
True.
I can't see it.
But I think an underrated part of that show that was kind of missed was Mike said he's undefeated in fencing. So he's kind of like the champ around there. You know, he's the cool guy.
I'd destroy him.
Are you a fencer, VD?
I'd close my eyes.
No, but I have eyes. It'd be unfair, but like you gotta put everything in perspective. If he wants to step into the fencing, I think pretty much I'd like to see him fence versus Blind Owl. You know, have our two blind Minifans go at it. That'd be nice. I'd pay to watch that pay-per-view.
Who'd win Ted versus Mike in fencing?
That's not Justin. That's evil. You can't do that. He doesn't.
I think Ted would probably win, to be honest.
No, I'd still give it to Mike.
Low man wins. But
no, I think Mike sounded great. I think he sounded refreshed. I think he has an idea going forward. Because those first couple of weeks when he first left, I'd call him like once a week just to see check in how he's doing. And he sounded like he had no idea what was going on. He was still like getting, signed up for the school. He was still debating on like whether or not it was a good idea. And I really think these meds helped him out a lot.
The Wellbutrin, it's hitting.
Yeah, I think it's hitting well, and it's he sounded incredible.
That's what she said.
I'm proud. I'm happy.
He sounded as loud as ever. I definitely forgot how loud he is on the show.
You catch the very beginning of the Cheers one. He's like fumbling over his words. It feels like I listened to it earlier, and
I'm sure he was nervous.
Jumping
into that. A lot of which I think is another good reason why to have him jump in and do a Cheers podcast for Monday's show instead of kind of loosen him up a bit, get him to talk about
big facts, Jay.
The bar in Boston. So it's
the what?
But no, how'd you guys think Mike sounded?
Like good. I think anytime there's a new person on the show, and like obviously Mike's been on the show before, but anytime there's a fresh voice, there's a little bit of the like shiny toy syndrome where everyone is like, oh, this is great, hopefully he can sustain it. He's got a little bit of wind in his sails. It sounds like the Patreon thing actually sounds like a good idea. That idiot Menners, when Mike left the show, said his career was over, the show would never let him back on. Obviously, he was completely wrong. I think the Patreon will be pretty successful, and I think having a more diminished role in the show will actually benefit his health and his quality on air.
I think the Patreon can be widely successful. I mean, you look at some podcasts out there. Like I listen to a podcast called Come Town.
I'm subscribing for sure.
And
is it called Come Town?
Come Town.
Yeah, you don't remember that?
It's
Come Town.
Yeah, Mike actually got me into it. It's these Baltimore comedians.
Yeah, Brian Mike loves repping those other podcasts.
They have a Patreon. I think they make like $65,000 a month. Not that I'm saying Mike is going to jump in and start making $65,000.
Hey, nothing wrong with making $60K.
But no, there's definitely a market out there where people are willing to support you.
I heard that's what BA makes actually.
$65,000 a month.
Yeah, up in Canada.
But it's Canadian money.
Exactly.
So it's more like what?
The exchange rate.
$10.
I don't have my calculator on me, but it's different.
How do you exchange rate with a calculator?
You just you multiply it and then you divide it.
You put like what was it, boobs that we could put? Is that what we did?
0.85. But no, I mean I'm excited for him. It seems like he would have like an open platform to kind of talk more about the things he wanted to talk about, more comedy, more like he said on the show. He said like old podcasts, and we'd have like comedians on and stuff like that. And I think it's great. I can't wait to see what he wants to do there.
What Mike wants to do. Yeah. Do you think he'll get more subscribers than the Quantum Week boys?
Yes, I think he will. I think I checked it out. Quantum Week I think has like 50 some.
I'm a $50 subscriber. So
you are?
I'm not out there. Yeah, I bit the bullet. I feel like they needed some help. Apparently.
Yeah. No.
Well, you're a man of fur hats and the finer things in life, so you can just afford it. You got a nice glass of red wine right there. You're living classy.
Yeah, I mean, plastic Starbucks cup was rough. We're doing it.
But I do think that Patreon can be successful for Mike, especially if he continues going on the Kirk show once a week, and like Kirk said, he's like, so we won't be getting paid, but he'll be have.
Is that the new show, the Kirk show?
The Kirk Mahan show?
Is that the new one that he's promoting? Is that the secret show?
Is that the secret though? The secret project?
He's
Yeah.
going.
The Kirk show.
It's the Kirk show. It's the Kirk Minifans show.
So can I? What do I do with this?
You fold it over.
Yeah, he's gonna be like Prince or someone. He's just gonna go by a singular name.
Thank you for the flag. I got it this morning. Thank you for the shipping from Barstool is
Expedited.
Yeah, buy another one, guys. Buy another one.
But it's but no, I have no idea what the secret project is. I don't think it's the Kirk show. Something tells me, but I think if Mike's able to go on once a week and kind of promote his thing there, and people who want to support Mike can support Mike on Patreon, and he can get advertisers for whatever podcast he plans on doing. And I know he said he wanted to get involved in the school for the blind he's currently going to. So that's another great.
It'd be I think it'd be smart of him to have like a $1 option, because then he's basically just like an internet homeless guy, where a lot of Minifans will feel bad for him and just throw him that pity dollar. So I think that's smart.
I mean, throw him a buck or two. What, you get 1,000 people to sign up? That's people like he's not a man of he's not an expensive man. I mean,
no.
I think let's just say he was making.
I mean, what I said earlier is true. Then
what?
He's
cheap? No, he's not cheap. It just doesn't cost a lot for him. Like, he was able to, let's just say he was making
a diamond ring on her finger or not.
I don't think
he's got to save up for that ring.
Not when you use whatever. Fuck.
He forgot the sponsor.
I'm testing him. He's got another one coming. Can't even tweet about the merch yesterday. Got called out for that.
But
we got another intern making bullshit merch. Look at this shirt. What is thank you for the idea, Mr. Carabas, but I could have made
great shirt
in my fucking sleep. Oh, the material is amazing. I feel like
how's it fit? True to size?
Oh my goodness, dude. It's
perfect.
Perfect. I can flex, I can eat a pizza.
Blue Nile. There we go.
Blue Nile.
Hey,
Blue Nile.
Google works. Oh,
they sell great engagement rings at very cheap price. But no, I think Mike will be wildly successful with Patreon. And I actually asked Mike if he wanted to come on this show tonight to kind of just for like a couple of minutes. And I actually got an encouraging response back. He said, he's like, I don't want to jump in. He's like, my fear would be that when I jump back in full force. And he's like, I don't want to do that right now. So I'm gonna have to pass. And I was like, oh, that's a good response. Good for him.
Respect.
I like the
it
fact
is nice that he kind of has a built-in excuse to take things very slow at the mic pace. He's just I'm easing back into everything. I don't want to do too much.
Like your first couple weeks at work, you can I forgot the time card. Yeah.
I'm still new.
I'm the new guy excuses. Fucking guy, man. That's how
I think it's going to be. What's your prediction on how much so Quantum Week right now? I think Matt said they're in the $300 range. What do you think Mike will get up to by the end of January?
I think that 3,000 a month goal is not out of reach for Mike.
I agree.
I don't think. Yeah,
I agree. I think
the coattails of Kirk Minahan. I mean, how could you do less? Mm-hmm.
I think that's very popular nowadays to be riding on the coattails of Kirk Minahan. I know VD. Speaking of,
right?
That's right. I'm still here. I'm not leaving until someone fires me. So
all those cunts at the live show, Justin. Fuck them all.
But what was I going to say? VD. Speaking of riding on coattails of Kirk Minahan, I know you kind of got into it this week with a quasi celebrity of some sorts. And Kirk actually shouted you out and said you were a great Twitter follow. You got into a fight with. You've been all over the place these past couple weeks. I saw you in a fight with.
Are we allowed to say the name? I feel like we should.
Joy Taylor, Courtney Fallon, whatever their names are.
Oh, yeah.
But I know you got into a fight with Adam the Jew, Latino Kirk these past couple weeks. I actually asked both of them on tonight to see if they wanted to kind of.
Wow, scared.
And Adam said he doesn't want to.
Will they do it for charity? Is what I want to know.
Adam said he doesn't want to, play your game anymore, so he did not want to come in. Latino Kirk was busy, so that was that.
What if we had a parenting advice show for the night? Could
There's
that
space on the YouTube
weigh
for it.
them over for a
There's
couple minutes?
Yeah.
I mean,
I
Adam,
mean,
advice is here whenever you need it.
Oh, well, I'm not a parent, so.
No, I have a cat though.
that's a cool cat, by the way. The way it just sits on your shoulder, that's pretty badass.
Cat somewhere around here, but it's
But yeah, I was sitting at a Thanksgiving dinner, thinking about the troops and everything they fought for this country, thinking about the political climate, all the drama in the world. And I looked at my phone and I just had like 200 notifications. I was like, oh fuck, what happened? And then I saw Joy Taylor was chirping at me, and I had to Google her real quick. I guess she's on like Colin Coward's show. But I knew Courtney Fallon, she was gonna play the sexism card. Like that was the most obvious thing in the world. I never criticized her for anything other than her terrible and factually incorrect sports takes. And it only took about 48 hours for her. The image of her like texting Joy Taylor on Thanksgiving, being like, "Hey, this guy Visionless Dave is giving me a hard time on Twitter." That was a good one. That felt good. That felt good. I mean, look, she knows what she did. I gave her a warning. She didn't have to do to Will what she did. She could have fired him, sure, if it wasn't a good fit. But she basically went on the air and said that Will is the reason her podcast is not taking off, or that she's literally can't go throughout her day because she's shaking so much because of Will. Meanwhile, she's paying the kids $75 an hour. So
That's
I mean, fine. If you want to get rid of him, go ahead. But
his groceries, she put him up for the week. Like she was taking care of this kid. And
no, she wasn't she wasn't putting him up. She wanted him until it was inconvenient for her. She says, "Oh, why did Will move to Boston?" I mean, she used all his audio equipment to record, so like obviously he had to be there. But it's really besides the point. Like she could fire Will all she wants, but she knows what she tried to do a little Kirk impression and go on air and be like, "Oh, I'm gonna tell all and kind of go after this person."
No, John from Scranton.
But if you try to punch someone, if you punch down and try to punch someone in the face, they might punch back. So it's not like Will asked me to do anything. It's just that kind of like disloyalty just has never sat well with me. And, John from Scranton's a snake too, and he's kind of, he's leaning into it the way like OJ Simpson leaned into being a murderer. I mean, if you trust that guy, you're an idiot. I mean, nice guy though. But I mean,
I think,
great guy. King of the YouTube, some say.
I think that she's kind of falling into the same category as kind of like a Smugsy or,
She's Talib Kweli. That's all she is.
Talib, someone who's just trying to jump on the, Kirk Minahan Barstool wave, and she doesn't really listen to the show. I've listened to a couple of her podcasts, and she's obviously just trying to insert herself in the Kirk Minahan universe without actually inserting herself in the Kirk Minahan universe. She just wants all the positive things out of it and none of the negative things. That come with, she doesn't want to get down and dirty. She doesn't want to get, fight the enemies. She just kind of wants, look, if I hire this ex-intern, I'm going to create some buzz for this new podcast. So I really don't have any sympathy for her.
She thought we were missing sports.
Well, what percentage of her subscribers do you think came from her association with Will and Will getting her show talked about on the Kirk Minahan show?
I'd say probably 19 out of the 20 subscribers.
We're giving Will too much credit. He probably did half that. John did the rest, I'll say.
Even if it's 50%, I mean, that's a lot, The Willa fans are passionate people. I don't know if you saw, Will. But Kirk in his bio has Team Will.
I had to sleep with that fuck for 2 days. You know what I mean? Like, Justin, I know Will. Like,
you've worked with Will. Are you Team Will?
I'm Team Will all the way. I wish him the best. Hope he keeps chugging along.
What is the choice? Team Will or Team Courtney Fallon? Like, come on.
But I just think she's in the same category as like as a Smugsy or as like a.
She is
her or someone who just wants to
COVID Smugsy, like 2021 Smugsy coming into this year. Just wait for it. She's gonna go berserk.
I mean, I tried to listen to the podcast. I only listened to one episode, and I was able to pull like 8 clips of her just saying things that just aren't even remotely true. And so I think that's fair, and especially in sports media, if you're gonna say something that is factually incorrect, and you could easily Google to be prepared. If you're just putting out a lazy product, yeah, people are going to criticize you for it. And I mean, since Will left, the audio quality has plummeted. It's tough to listen to, really.
Ouch.
Yeah.
But enough about
a new podcast actually called Decent Signal.
Yeah, I heard it's taken off with
it comes in a lot better if you listen to it
with Steve from Providence and Tim and Canton.
I heard Will gave them the tips on how to produce. So
I heard Will has equity.
Yeah, there's equities going around.
Yeah, equity's been a word that's been thrown around quite a bit this past week.
I just said, Justin.
With Mike talking about how he would give equity to his producer when they come on, and the whole equity thing. I cut up a whole bunch of that Courtney Fallon audio. And I sent it to Steve and Carano, but I think it wouldn't have. I don't think it would have been.
Why would you send it to Carano?
Because he produced the show on Monday and Tuesday.
Oh, all right.
But I don't. I think it was just. It would have been pointless to get to it on Tuesday with Mike being back, because Mike has really been out of this world when it's what's come to think. I think it was funny how he's like, so what happened with DEC? DEC's now our enemy.
Yeah.
Because I was, like I said, I was re-listening to By Mike today, which was the last one. And at one point, Steve goes, I'm already getting texts from DEC asking if he can, sit in Mike's chair for a couple weeks. So that's kind of the last thing Mike heard. Then we come back and DEC's out of the world. He has a whole nother podcast. He says he no longer listens to the show. It's like, what the hell happened in 3 months? You go from hosting a podcast about the show to hell happened in 3 months. You go.
Are you not remembering that DEC had a podcast about the show though?
Yes,
he saved Kirk Minahan's career.
Yeah, sure. We'll go with that.
Yeah,
we'll go with that.
People forget that DEC is John from Scranton's hero. He wants to be just like him. People forget that.
So true. I can't believe that that was allowed for so long. John from Scranton just on the coattails of DEC, just he would be nothing without that guy. Godspeed. RIP.
RIP is correct. But so it was also announced on Tuesday. It's official that the Kirk Minahan show will be going to 3 days a week. I'm going to assume Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I'm sure if something spectacular happens and they need to do a Thursday show, they will do a show on Thursday instead of Friday. But it's what are your guys' thoughts on that? I mean,
real quick, thinking about dead people, I just want to say RIP Gramps. Gramps.
Yeah,
Rogers.
that's right. Yes, RIP to
that we didn't start that with that, but that guy sold some shirts yesterday. Veterans fucking win, my guy. RIP.
He's up in heaven watching this show right now, wondering what he's doing with his life in heaven. But yeah, rest in peace, Gramps.
Yes, RIP to
he's Catholic or something, right? God
to Steve's. I think they're Protestant. Right. RIP to Steve's grandfather. Best wishes are with him.
Pour one out homie, real quick.
That's right. But so the show is going to 3 days a week. Kirk said one day with Mike, one day Carabas, one day maybe just him and Steve. What are your guys' thoughts on that? I saw there was a poll going around saying, what do you think will be the most downloaded episodes out of those three?
Oh, really? I didn't see the poll.
I believe it was on KMS polls, but I think the Mike episode won out. What are your guys' thoughts on 3 days a week? I'm excited for it. I think it will, kind of rejuvenate the show, but just something different. Give people something to
do 7 days a week, Justin.
What do you say?
I'm kind of mad he doesn't do 7 days a week. I want Saturday and Sunday. I want 5-hour shows, 35 hours. That's not much. I feel like Kirk could do that in his sleep.
He could do it in his sleep, but also I think there is
if he slept.
There is enough. I think creates a demand. Tuesday, if he doesn't do a show Tuesday, Thursday, I think people are just going to be that much more hungrier for the shows Wednesday, Friday.
Oh, and the Kirk show too. Don't forget about the Kirk show.
The Kirk show, the side project, which I think we're underestimating exactly how much time and effort is going into, we'll call it the Kirk show. I think he did say they did something yesterday with him and Carano. He said it's going to be like a season type thing, so I don't think it's not something that's going to be like, well, topical is a bad word for it, but it's not going to be something that's like about current events. I mean, because he's doing.
Can I ask a question about the show?
Sure.
You said you went to basements, or you said you went to like. You said you went to two places specifically, right? Framingham or Fall River. And
I didn't go.
You didn't do anything?
No, he Googled it. He Googled it.
Oh, okay.
I Googled basements in Brockton because he said he went to Brockton, and all that came up was like basement restoration places. So I don't know. Maybe he's looking into leaky basements.
No, sex trafficking is what I'm going with.
Maybe I have no idea.
Yeah,
but it's
Are there any chances that this whole secret project thing kind of coincides with Will's departure from Bad Signal? Could the Kirk and Will show be coming soon?
Whoa!
It very well could be. I don't. I think I'm not gonna speak on that anymore. I've already said too much about that.
Hey, that's what we're here for. I'm just trying to get what we
can.
But
so do you guys? Because I don't think it's going to be a set like Mike is going to come in Mondays, Carabas comes in Wednesdays, and then it's just Steven Kirk on Friday. I think it's going to be more of like something. If something comes up and he thinks Carabas will be more topical, then he's going to ask Carabas if he can come in. If something comes up and he thinks Mike will be more topical, I don't necessarily think it's going to be just once a week too. I think it could be perhaps there's a Monday, Wednesday where Kirk wants Mike in, or Wednesday, Friday where Kirk wants Carabas in. Maybe there's a week where he doesn't feel a need for any of them to come in.
What are you saying?
I think people are thinking it's going to be like such a set thing. Like Mondays are going to be Mike's days.
Exactly. It's just going to be who wants. Yeah.
I just think it's going to be whatever's topical, whatever the best. I mean, because it's a podcast. There's no set.
Bryce Harper gets traded to the Red Sox. Carabas, we need you right now. Get in here. Boom. Give us an update. I got you. Alex Cora, he fucked us on that. That asshole knew. He had a text in his phone saying that Cora was coming that night.
He probably did.
He's blown Cora.
But VD, you have anything else to say with when it comes to 3 days a week?
I think it'll be I think it'll be fine. Like you said, I think it'll be fluid like the show's always been, where they kind of can decide right before what they want to do in the sense of who they want to have on. I don't think it'll be very rigid. But Jay, is that your last cat on your head? When your last cat died, did you make a hat out of it?
It's actually Steve's. He sent it to me. He knew I was
Tig
on the show tonight. This is Tig's skin.
Yeah.
He ate the rest of them. He lied. He'd never buried Tig. He ate Tig. Fact. Brought a plate. He probably ordered some rice from what was that place in Saco? Saco rice. Saco Chinese food.
I have no idea.
Jay, the chat wants to know why you're stealing Tim Riggle's shtick of eating on the YouTube. They say that
is that BA talking shit?
Original. They said he said Tim Riggles is the original.
Tim's been challenging a lot. We had a McChuck and Palm battle that he backed out of. He ate a lot of food this afternoon and posted it in a group. And I'm kind of sick of his bullshit, to tell you the truth, because he doesn't know what eating is.
I'd watch that one-on-one. I would watch that head-to-head.
Anything else you guys want to say about this week before we wrap up?
I have more. Hold on.
Here we go. I do want to say that there's a great sale going on. It's been it's going to be all weekend, I believe, up until Cyber Monday.
OnlyFans.com/Joy Taylor.
No, not on OnlyFans.com.
Oh,
but BarstoolSports.com .store. I think everything's 20% off. There's a whole bunch of new merch. Jay's rocking the Veterans fucking win, the beautiful flag, everything there. You got some beanies up there. It's gonna be great. Just get all your Christmas shopping done. And,
stickers are down to $4, guys. Stickers, KMS stickers, $4. I believe Rich Kelleher licked every one.
Yeah, so that's happening this weekend. So be sure to go check that out. I know if you bought something, or if you buy something, tweet it at the show or at Kirk, because they're going to be doing a giveaway of a Madawaska ticket and a VFW ticket for the June show. So that's just another incentive on to support the show. And
you guys, you going to Madawaska, VD?
VD, you going to? Oh, you're muted.
I'm gonna try to. Yeah, I'm gonna try to.
If you need to come out, let me know, dude. I got you. I got you with whatever you need, man. We need people
pizza and wine,
whatever you want. Well, no, I got better stuff than that. But like anything I owe Sheldon a ticket. If you guys knew, Justin, you think you had an adventure that night? Like I know you almost died and called the ambulance. You know,
what are you talking about? Oh, that that was fine.
There's a story that happened. That's like the untold Minifan stories. And I just want you guys to know that we got stuck in the mud. All right,
stuck in the mud.
Sheldon's time here was probably not like he almost got set on fire the night before.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Sheldon from North Dakota.
I did see that grill fire. That was wild.
He almost died on his trip here twice. 2 near-death experiences, and I just needed that to be known because this guy does one of the jobs in the world that doesn't get recognized enough. And cows in general are just like they need to be held to a higher standard.
Don't sleep on cows.
Yeah,
don't sleep on cows.
Like don't ever sleep on a cow because they'll eat you. But I just wanted that to be known, Justin.
Wise words.
Last words. I mean, do you guys have anything to say before I wrap this up? Because
in the words of Kirk Linehan, you fat fuck, kill yourself.
There we go. Perfect. I will say, there was some talk on Tuesday. I'm not suicidal or anything, so that's fine.
Really?
That's good to hear.
I'm so happy for you, Justin.
Yeah, I'm doing great.
Like you just got pregnant or something.
No, everything's fine. Yeah, I've been doing better than ever.
How are your feet doing? I can only imagine what your feet look like after 12 miles of walking down the street. And then
my feet are fine. I'm not gonna show my feet.
Did the ambulance people take your shoes or anything? They sometimes take people's shoes off. Like, did they cut your shirt? Did they put the things on you?
Nope.
No, nothing.
It was just chill. But
I love you. I'm sorry.
The last thing I wanted to say was that the KMS Brews guys tonight at 10 are doing a Ask the Internet drinking game. So it's going to be on the network.
How fucking original. Sorry. Yeah, everybody tune in. It's
going to be fun.
KMS Brews to play Answer the Internet. The KFC Barstool Game of the Year in 2015, right?
Sure. We'll go with that. But thank you everyone for joining me on this short week. I hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving, good Black Friday, and everyone continues just being great. So I will talk to you guys next week on Justin and the Minifans. Thank you.